This week you will be reading two selections, one by Amy Tan and the other by Rita Dove. They are authors that we consider to be authors of contemporary nonfiction. The two selections that you will be reading are both essays. In order to give you a little bit background on this week's reading, I'd like to give you some information about each of the authors. Let's start with Amy Tan. She was the daughter of Chinese immigrants. Both of Tan's parents came to America in search of a more peaceful life. Her father left his home to avoid the Chinese Civil War, while her mother found passage to America on the last boat to leave Shanghai before the communist takeover of 1949. Her parents eventually met and married. She was born and raised in Northern California along with her two brothers. As a teen, her oldest brother and her father died of brain tumors within a year of each other, which caused a lot of stress within her family. Because of this, her mother moved them to Switzerland, where Amy finished high school. After she graduated from college in America, she began a successful career as a business writer. She did very well financially, but she found her work unfulfilling. She decided that she enjoyed writing fiction a lot more. So she began publishing short stories. She eventually found an agent who encouraged her to take on writing full time. Although she was only writing short stories, eventually a trip to China kindled her appreciation of her Chinese roots. She went to China with her mother, and it was at this time, when she returned to America, that she began writing The Joy Luck Club, which was published in 1989. This was a novel about 4 Chinese-American women and their mothers. The book automatically made Tan a celebrity, and was followed by a lot of other novels. Her second novel, The Kitchen God's Wife, was inspired by her mother's early life living in China. When her mother left China in 1949, she was fleeing not only the communist takeover, but also a failed marriage, and was forced to leave 3 daughters behind. In 1987, it was that trip to China that eventually resulted in the Joy Luck Club. It was during that trip when Tan was attempting to help her mother find her missing daughters. Unfortunately, at that time, they had been unable to. Since The Kitchen God's Wife, Tan has continued to write numerous other novels, such as The 100 Secret Senses, which was published in 1995, and The Bone Setter's Daughter, which was published in 2001. She still is alive and writing, and gives frequent talks throughout the country at colleges and universities. The second author that you will be reading a selection from this week is Rita Dove. I'd like to give you a little bit of background on her as well. She was born in Akron, Ohio, to highly educated parents, so that makes her a little bit different than Tan. She was encouraged to read from a very early age, and she excelled in school. Upon graduating from high school, she was invited to the White House as a presidential scholar, so she was definitely one of the cream of the crop students. She began writing in middle school, actually around the ages of 9 or 10. She wrote comic books with female superheroes, but she found her true passion, which was poetry, in college. She attended Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and graduated with the highest honors, winning a Fulbright scholarship to study in Germany. From there, she continued her education at the famous Writers' Workshop at the University of Iowa. She would eventually go on to teach creative writing at Arizona State University, and it was during this time that she started to gain critical acclaim through several volumes of poetry. In 1987, she won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry for a collection of poems called Thomas and Beulah. It was based on the lives of her grandparents. In 1993, she was appointed the Poet Laureate of the United States, She was the youngest person ever to hold that position. Since then, she's published numerous volumes of poetry, including On the Bus with Rosa Parks in 1999 and An American Smooth 2004. She's written a play, a novel, and a collection of short stories. Hopefully, this background information allows you to see a little bit more into the nonfiction that these two authors have written for this week, and I hope you enjoy reading their selections. If you have any questions or need any help with anything, please let me know, and have a good week. Thanks.